By the late 1970s, the FBI had interviewed over 800 suspects. Pilots, criminals, paratroopers, ex-military. Even civilians who simply looked like the famous sketch. Everyone wanted to solve the mystery of the man who vanished into thin air. But as the list grew, so did the confusion. Many suspects were eliminated instantly. Some had alibis. Others had no experience with parachutes. And some, they were just people chasing clout, desperate for attention, claiming to be Cooper to feel important. Yet within all the noise, a few names sent shockwaves through the investigation. The FBI needed someone with knowledge of aviation, someone fearless enough to parachute into a storm, someone who could stay calm while hijacking a plane with the entire world watching. Agents narrowed their search to individuals who had military experience, could access parachutes, or had a history of bold, calculated behavior. Names emerged, men with suspicious pasts, unexplained wealth, or connections to the jump zone. And then came a suspect so convincing. Some agents still believe he was the real D.B. Cooper to this very day. In 1972, just months after Cooper vanished, another man hijacked a plane using almost the exact same method. His name was Richard Floyd McCoy, a Vietnam veteran, helicopter pilot, expert skydiver, and a man who studied flight instructions like they were scripture. McCoy boarded a plane carrying a gun and a grenade, demanded $500,000, and, just like Cooper, parachuted out of the aircraft at night. He survived the jump and was caught only days later. When investigators looked closer, something disturbing happened. McCoy resembled the Cooper sketch. He knew how to jump. He lived in Utah, close enough to the Northwest forests. And even more suspicious, he kept souvenirs from the hijacking hidden in his home. Some believed McCoy's second hijacking was not a copycat, but a repeat performance by the real Cooper, who needed more money. But others in the FBI disagreed. They said McCoy was too young, too reckless, too showy. Cooper was calm, quiet, controlled. In 1974, McCoy was killed in a shootout after escaping from prison. To this day, some agents swear he was D.B. Cooper. Others say it was impossible. The truth? If McCoy was Cooper, he took that secret to his grave. But out of all the suspects, one man stood out above the rest. A man whose past, appearance, and behavior matched the Cooper profile too perfectly to ignore. His name was Kenneth Christensen, a quiet, disciplined airline employee. He served as a paratrooper during World War II. He worked for Northwest Airlines, the same airline D.B. Cooper hijacked. He knew the aircraft inside and out. He was calm, reserved, never talked too much. And right after the hijacking, he suddenly had more money than before. When investigators questioned him, he didn't act nervous. He didn't deny anything. He simply said, "You'll never prove I did it." Years later, a family member claimed Christensen confessed on his deathbed. Photos comparing him to the D.B. Cooper sketch showed shocking similarities. Same nose, same jawline, same hairline, same build. But the FBI? They concluded there wasn't enough evidence. No fingerprints, no DNA, no confession they could verify. Still to this day, Christensen remains one of the most convincing suspects in the entire case. Episode 7 ends with one haunting truth. The FBI got close. Painfully close. But the man who jumped into the night left behind a trail of suspects so intricate that even the strongest leads collapsed into dust. And with every suspect investigated, the legend of D.B. Cooper only grew stronger. Among the strangest suspects was a man who simply couldn't keep his mouth shut. A drifter, a storyteller, the kind of person who blended truth with lies until even he didn't know the difference. His name was Dwayne Weber. One night, after years of keeping secrets from his wife, he whispered something that forever changed the investigation. "I'm Dan Cooper." When she questioned him, he said nothing more. But after his death, she found a diary filled with strange notes, sketches, and references to the Northwest. The FBI interviewed her. She said he had nightmares. Nightmares of leaving fingerprints on an airplane. Nightmares of jumping. Nightmares of running through the woods with a bag of money. And here's where it gets interesting. His handwriting resembled the notes the hijacker wrote on the flight cards. He smoked the same brand of cigarettes. He drank bourbon, Cooper's drink of choice. But there was a problem. Weber was older than witnesses estimated Cooper to be, and some of his stories changed depending on who asked. To some, he was a liar chasing attention. To others, he was a man confessing before death took the truth from him. Even today, investigators remain split. Was he lying? Or was his final confession the truth he held onto for decades? In the mid-1980s, rumors surfaced of a strange man living deep in the woods of Washington. Locals described him as quiet, isolated, and always watching the sky. He hunted for food. He rarely came to town, and no one knew his real name. Some called him the Parachute Man. Others said he was a veteran who wanted nothing more to do with society. But a few? They suspected something far darker. He matched the build of D.B. Cooper. He lived near the suspected landing zone, and he had survival skills strong enough to endure the brutal wilderness. When fishermen asked where he came from, he'd say things like, "I fell from the sky." A joke, maybe, but in a case like this, nothing is just a joke. The FBI investigated the rumors, trekked through the forests, even searched abandoned cabins. But they found no fingerprints, no money, no documents, no parachutes. Whoever this man was, he left no trace. Like a ghost wandering the forests. A ghost who might have jumped out of a Boeing 727 years earlier. Was he Cooper? Or just another lost soul hiding from life? The truth was buried in the trees, where no badge could reach. As the legend grew, so did the imposters. More than a dozen people publicly claimed to be D.B. Cooper. Some wrote books. Some booked interviews. Some even tried to profit from the mystery. But one man took it to the extreme. His name was Sheridan Peterson, a former smoke jumper with a wild streak. He matched the sketch perfectly. Same jawline, same mischievous smile, same fearless personality. Journalists loved interviewing him. Every time he spoke, he hinted that he might be Cooper, but never said it directly. He once joked, "If I was D.B. Cooper, I'd never admit it." Where's the fun in that? His background fit the profile: paratrooper, skilled skydiver, thrill seeker. He lived overseas for years, just like someone hiding from a crime. But when the FBI pressed him for DNA, he refused to cooperate. Some saw that as guilt. Others saw it as a man enjoying the attention. Ultimately, the FBI concluded Peterson's ego made him want to be part of the story, but the evidence didn't put him on Flight 305. Still, in a case with so many dead ends, Peterson remained yet another haunting possibility. Episode 7 ends with a chilling realization: so many suspects, so many stories, so many clues, and yet, no proof. The more the FBI searched, the more the truth slipped through their fingers. Just like the man who jumped and never looked back.